This is the update on my chicken tractors. I have made 3 chicken tractors so far. One of them is in Henderson. It's the A-frame shaped one that I first made out of just junk material that I had there around. And all I've got invested in it basically is some screws and staples and a little chicken wire. But it doesn't look like much, but it worked pretty well. And it's heavy, a little more difficult to move around, and it's the biggest of the ones by far. The second one's in Hardin, Texas. I made that one for my grandson, Joshua. I painted it red and had a white vinyl roof on it. Got bicycle wheels on it to make it easy for him to move around, and it came out really well. And then I made the third one. Made it in Henderson, transported it to Hillsboro, and I have it in my backyard here in Hillsboro. I didn't need this great big A-frame type of chicken tractor here, and I did want it to look nice being in the backyard since I do live in town, and didn't want it to be an eyesore. So I've worked on that project. Got A-frame design. Was not a bad design. Works really good out there on the farm, but really the new design is much better. It's much lighter, smaller, easy to use. This one, first one that I made for Joshua, was taller than the one I made for Hillsboro. I decided after making his that it didn't really need to be that tall, and so I've made the one in Hillsboro 6 inches shorter than what you see here that Joshua has. And it worked really good for Joshua. He's got 6 chickens in there now, and they're doing really well. He's real proud of it, and he's having a good time raising chickens. And that works really good for him, especially in his backyard. The way their setup is, the big tires are good, but mine, I'm not going to put such large tires. I'm going to put smaller tires, like off of a lawnmower. I made mine out of treated lumber. It's got 2x4s, about a dozen 8-foot long treated 2x4s, and I split them on my table saw right down the middle, and then cut them to the lengths that I needed to make the frame. Pre-drilled all the holes where I needed them to be, and then it was just a matter of assembling that after that. And I'd like to use my table saw for an assembly table too. Since it's right in the middle of the shop, I just lower the blade and go ahead and use it as a table to assemble my stuff, and it works out pretty good. And use clamp things together and hold them where they need to be while I put the screws in it. So I start off by making the A-frames for the roof, and here the A-frames, a couple of them already made here, and only need 3. One on either end and one in the middle to support the center. In this area, they're designed that size to be the roosting area for the chickens too, so they'll be comfortable and have plenty of room to roost. And so then it's just a matter of drill a lot of holes, saw everything to length, and be careful with the dimensions to hold things real close, because I'm going to have to assemble this, and it all needs to fit nicely together. I didn't have my power tools, my cordless power tools with me. I had them in Hillsboro, here in the shop in Henderson, so I had to use corded tools, regular electrical drills and stuff to do this. But that's all right. The shop's real comfortable. It was cold outside when I was doing this. I have a little heater you saw in the background in an earlier picture, but that keeps me warm while I'm in there, and the shop's tight enough that the wind doesn't blow through. And so I get this assembled. This first part, this is the end piece that will have nothing but chicken wire on it. On Joshua's chicken tractor, I enclosed the eave of this rafter, but on this one I decided I wanted to just cover the whole thing with chicken wire for ventilation. This summer's really hot here, and I think the chickens need all the air that they can get. So I'm going to make this whole end open. It'd be a little cool on them in the wintertime, but they seem to have survived winter so far here in January, and it's working good. Put some brace pieces on it to make it good and sturdy. Knowing that this was going to have chicken wire on it, I'm going to have to put more bracing on this end than I do on the other end. My screws were too long, so I had to grind off the ends of them. They stuck out. And since the other piece is going to join to this, I can't have screws sticking out here. So I took my air grinder and ground a little those points off so that they wouldn't stick out. It's just you're gonna make mistakes, so you don't think every now and then. These are some brace pieces I did out of plywood just to brace that rafter good on this end. That's all it's going to have on this end is chicken wire. So I wanted to have it braced so it wouldn't fall apart, come apart. And then it's just a matter of screwing all this together. Get long screws. I took a sheet of T111 siding, and I've cut it out for the back piece. One solid piece. Screw it to it, and then I'll cut the door out. Here in just a moment, you'll see me cutting the door out. And run screws all the way around, all the way across. Get that like I want it. Then I turn it over and begin to cut the door into it. I'll use the piece I cut out for the door itself, and then I took and framed the door jamb. I framed it, and then I put a frame around the door piece itself, and then I mounted the hinges and put the lock. I didn't get a picture of all that, but that's basically how I did it. It was raining outside this winter day, and so I had to go out onto the porch to assemble it. I didn't want to go to the trouble to open the big door of the shop, assemble it in the shop, and then take it out the door. So it's easy just to put it out on the porch and assemble it there. So I put these 5 pieces together that I had pre-assembled pieces, the 2 sides, 2 ends, and the rafter in the center. And I got those screwed in place, and then we would carry it on to Hillsboro, and would get it to Hillsboro. We put the roofing on it, the vinyl roofing on it there. And we want to do that pretty quick because I had built a box just to carry the chickens to Hillsboro, and wanted to give them time to not have them in that box so very long. That way I get them in the chicken tractor. So when we got to Hillsboro, we put it in the garage. With the garage closed, it was really cold outside. We went ahead and got the roof on it and got it ready for the chickens. Set it out there, and we built the nest box inside there too, and it hadn't done that. I want you to notice in that picture the bare ground to the left of the chicken tractor. That's what they do in a matter of 2 or 3 days.
It's 4
They'll
o'clock.
have the ground bare right there where you're at. I put a feed trough in it. This has got a little chute on the outside that I fill, and the feed goes underneath into this trough. That's kind of an automatic feeder, and this is where they won't scatter it, and they won't you don't need very much room for that, and it's up under the roof, so it don't get water in it from the rain. This is the outside part of that. You can see the chute on the outside there. It has a lid that slides. I built a lid that just slides back and forth to keep the rain out of the feed. They can fill that trough full of feed, and it'll last them for about a week. That's about a week's worth of feed in that trough. Chickens are very happy in there. They just seem to like it really well. I move it every 2 or 3 days, give them some fresh green grass in there, fertilizing the grass for me. In this area that I've got them in, I plan to grow a garden in this area later. You can see the bare ground around the thing where they have, and the green grass out there. As I move it around every few days, they've got it all picked dry, clean. There's a nest box. It's not finished. I need to box that in more. I put a piece of carpet in there, and they seem very happy with it. They've been getting 1 to 2 eggs a day out of these 5 chickens, and they'll lay them right on that carpet, and they seem content to do it. But I'm going to enclose it a little bit more and put a little more of a roof on it. And I'd like to put a door on the outside, their small door, just to be able to reach in and get the eggs without having to open the big door. The roof I put on this was a transparent, kind of semi-transparent vinyl blue. You can see through it, as you can see there. You see the rafters through it. I'm not sure whether this will be enough for the heat of the sun of summer to keep the sun off of them. If it's not, I'll do something else. But it seems to work all right. I painted it white. The T111 siding, wanted to paint it white, and you can see a hole that was in there. That's going to be for a water trough. I'll do that video later. I'm going to put an automatic waterer on it. And the chickens are inside there, and I put it up on bricks, get it up off the ground. There's little chance of anything bothering the chickens in town. Varmints not going to come dig under it and get into the chickens. Probably no chance of that at all. But I'll most time I leave it on the ground. It's treated lumber, so it won't hurt anything, and I move it regularly. The bracing's all good. There should be plenty of ventilation. That hole you see there in the back right corner, there is where the water trough is going to be. I'll put a pipe through there for them to drink water, and I'll take a video of that later. Here they are inside. They're happy. You can see the roosting area up top. I've got that bar up at the very top, and they climb right up on that and roost there each night. They're real happy with that. First night I had them in there, they roosted on the lower bar that I have going across there, and the next night though they made it to the top, and every night now you can go by, you can see their shadows through that semi-transparent roof, them sitting on the nest. They seem very happy. It's a good project. Worked out really good. I look forward to moving it around and having a good garden spot and getting the eggs from this chicken. To add to this video, the water trough that I put in for the chickens, you'll won't have any narration here on this part. Just let you know that this is what I did for a water trough for the end of it, and enjoyed sticking this on. It's working really well, so just enjoy the pictures. Thanks. Okay, they're drinking at the fountain. They found the water, and they're drinking it up. That's good. You get a little cold drink of water.
And you just stack bottles inside here. As the water goes down, the bottles will let water in. Got to paint it. Get it painted and it'll work.
Okay, the chickens are happy in their new home. They got automatic feeder and water. All I lack is putting the wheels on it, and I should be all done with this project. Chickens are doing good. Got to do a little bit on the nest box next. Nest box and wheels, and then I'll be all through. I've really enjoyed making this project. Okay, this is an addition to this project. Getting ready to do the nest box. And I went to Henderson, got my saw all cleaned up. The shop was a mess, so I cleaned the shop up. I got me a sheet of plywood and got into making the part. I didn't, as in the past, I have always tried to have a blueprint, something I did on the computer with dimensions and everything. But this, I just had it in my head what I wanted it to look like, and it's about the size I wanted. So I took a magic marker and a piece of scrap wood, and I drew me a rough picture of it, put the dimensions down, and then I just very quickly laid out this. There's nothing has to be accurate about any of this. This is just a nest box. So I'm cutting all the pieces out you see here, and I get all these pieces cut out, and then it's be ready to assemble. Using my cordless tools here. Got it. I decided not to glue this together. After I was going to just screw it together, so I pre-drilled the holes that needed to be pre-drilled. This is the bottom piece, top piece, and you got some other pieces. Anyway, the drill press is real handy for this. You got all drilled. I laid the parts out, getting ready to assemble, get it all ready, and I use a clamp to kind of hold it in place while I put screws in it. And, I didn't have the hinges, so I just put the door on there and put a screw in it to hold it in place. And I got some 2x2s that I'll put on the top and the bottom of it, and these will be used to fasten it to the wall of the chicken tractor. I'll push it through the wall up against it, and then run screws into this 2x2 to hold it against the wall. And there it is, all finished up, ready to take to Hillsboro. We got it there. I took magic marker and started drawing. Drew a box on the side of the wall where I wanted it to go, and the chickens were just really fascinated by me being out there. They were so curious about what I was doing. And a couple of them climbed up on top of the nest box that was in there, and looked over the top of the wall just to see what I was doing. They were just real curious about all that. And as soon as I got it in there, boy, they climbed into that thing quick. They were curious about it, and they looked it over, and they got in it. And at one point, I had 4 chickens in the 2 in each nest box, and they're just really checking it out. And I think it'll really encourage them. They've been laying their eggs on the ground, and I can't have that. I'd rather them lay it in the nest box. So this should work really well. I painted it, got it all painted, put in place. While the chickens inside were just playing with it, getting in and out of it. They end up having a rooster. One of these chickens I'll show you here in a moment is a rooster. Yeah, there he is. He's a rooster, and I got 4 hens. As long as he don't crow in the mornings, wake anybody up, I'll hang on to him. Yeah, they're very happy with it. Looks like it's going to work really well. You can see them in the nest box. Got it all painted up here. And then I needed to paint the water trough bracket. I hadn't painted it yet, so while I had the paint bucket out and got this finished painting this part, I go around the other side and paint that water trough. And got it all ready for the rain. Got 4 eggs today. It was they were all 4 of the hens laid, and there it is, finished product. I'll have all of the lack is put the wheels on it and the handle for rolling it around. There'll be 2 wheels on the back side, handle on the front, and the water trough there. You can see it all done, and the project came really well. I'll add more to this video later when I get the wheels on it. And you can see I got the nest box, the water, and the feed trough. Everything's looking really good.